Welcome in to the DNVR Losers Lounge, presented by your From Rage Toyota. We really appreciate those guys always stepping up and helping us out when we need them the most. I am Yahir, your host for the day. Mitch is out in Kentucky, doing whatever people do in Kentucky. He's actually at a wedding, having a good time. And I'm joined here by my good friend, Duane Downtown Brown. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay, sort of. I've been on an emotional roller coaster for the past 100 and so minutes with this one. Oof.
Yeah, it was definitely a roller coaster of emotions today, right? You kind of felt all the elation of being the better team, and then you felt all the devastation of being the worst team on the pitch at the end.
Pretty much. That sums it up. Yeah. Man, it was really fun until the subs. It was really fun.
I think it was a hot take. I think regardless of the results, again, wanted to win, wished for the dub. I think this must have been the funnest time I've had of the Rapids losing a game. It sucks that it was against RSL, but it was such a fun game to watch. It had feelings of that Red Bull game back in 2021, I want to say, where goals were just going in left and right, and everybody was just battling to win. Unfortunately, the Rapids didn't come out with the W like they did that time. But let's break down the game a little bit. Let's recap it, see what happened. First things first, Cole Bassler, man, scores off a mistake from the defender. And Zach Math, I have no idea what he's doing 20 yards away from goal. And Cole, from almost the halfway mark, about 3/4 of the mark, hits it in. And good goal. You can't say nothing about it. It was an error.
It was great.
He takes advantage. Rapids go up 1-0 early in the game. About 5 minutes later, Rafa does some individual magic and scores a beauty as well. Puts the Rapids back up 2-0. You're rolling at that point. We're feeling like, ooh, this is the time, baby. Rocky Mountain Cup's already ours. Cancel that game in Colorado. We don't even have to play that anymore. We're good to go. But here comes Chicho off a horrible mistake from Zack Steffen, which, granted, that ball was hit as hard as it could be hit. Bounced off his hands, bounces off, and here comes Chicho, poacher Chicho, and scores a really nice goal, in my opinion. Then the Rapids start kind of floundering a bit, little by little. You kind of see they're letting the pressure get to them defensively. They basically parked the bus for the last 20 minutes, and about minute 41. Gomez with a beautiful corner off the corner kick, just a rocket. Nobody would have stopped that. That was a great goal in my opinion. And we go into the half tied 2-2. Second half comes around, and here comes the Rapids, baby. The Burgundy boys, the boys in blue today, running the pitch. They're trying to get that goal, and they finally do. I actually forget how that third goal was scored because it was
the third time's the charm goal.
Yep, so, where everybody hit Zach's hand until Jordy said, let me just hit it with my knee again, and we'll make this a goal for everybody to remember. And the Rapids go up 3-2, and we're excited. Rapids are holding on. They're trying to back off RSL, and I personally thought they did a really good job of holding pressure offensively and defensively until RSL scores again, right? They tie it back up. Place is going wild. And here comes Chicho once again with that header off the crossbar, and people are going insane. Then we have the defense lacking again. Just no defensive awareness. Off the wing. Goal sneaks by Zach. I have no idea how. And they're up 4-3. At that point, Rapids are trying to get the ball back. They're trying to get that goal to tie it up. And at the end, they end up conceding another goal for them to lose 5-3. And that's why we're here today on the DNVR Losers Lounge. That was a quick little rewind like you see in movies, like let me tell you how we got here. So, Duane, after watching that game, what are your initial thoughts? How are you feeling right now about that loss?
I feel super let down, and this is it's a weird way to feel let down because this is a different way to feel let down in that I feel this loss goes on my guy. I'm the biggest Chris Armas fan out there. And I feel like this one, we've been able to pinpoint players usually in most games, but this one feels like a game of trying not to lose instead of trying to win, by parking the bus, making subs when I always want to keep, especially with this group built of speed and transition, like you keep the pressure on, and that's when we play our best ball. First 20-30 minutes of the game was when we were playing our best ball. It's high pressure, it's keeping the other team on their back foot. That's when we're at our best, and we were playing that, came out playing it in the second as well. And then the subs came. It's not on this person at all, but when I saw Lawless being subbed in, I knew we were going to lose. Like, that was the white flag to me. I was like, oh no, they've given up. They're going to try to eke out a win, or eke out not losing versus trying to win this game. And that's what happened. And then when we did fall behind 4-3, you have a squad of guys. You think it's difficult to score previously in this season. Take all of those guys out and put Maxu at the 9. So those subs were just insanely costly. This is the second time I watched us park the bus while up, and it's not gone well either time. Not just for Chris Armas, but ever since I've been a Rapids fan, that never works. So I totally enjoyed this game. It was super fun until we parked it, and then it became not fun anymore. So but man, and I know we'll get into it, but once again, Rafa tells me to shut the F up, and I love it.
Yeah, man. So, like, I completely see where you're coming from. I agree with you for the most part. I thought going defensively that late when there was already so much pressure mounted on them was kind of the wrong idea. Instead of bringing somebody that can control the ball, kind of control possession a little bit more. And Jared's completely right. Pick the right 11. The mistake was the tinkering, right? Yep. Who you kind of placed in there, how you kind of mismatched. But I like to think that there's nobody on that bench that would have made a difference, in my opinion. I don't think the Rapids have that kind of player. I think Ollie is that kind of player that kind of comes in and controls the ball, him and Bassett. But they have played 3 games in the last 7 days. That's a lot. That's a lot on them, right? They needed to come off. They needed to sub in some people. The Rapids need a little bit more depth. I thought Jasper should have come in a little bit sooner. I thought he would have been a great disruptor. The Lawless thing, just going defensively, to me, I thought was the right idea. But they need another winger. They need more offensive help. I don't think Yappy and Cabral are the depth you need when you're fighting for your life defensively and you need an outlet pass, a quick little, hey, let's go. We need 2 strikers that can just poach it and get it in the back of the net. And the Rapids didn't have that tonight. They didn't have anybody that you could just send it up high and they were going to make something happen. And I'm okay with going defensively if you have those 2 guys up there, but you just don't. For as much I like the depth going into the season, I think the depth has really been lacking lately. And there's nobody really that I can trust on that bench right now that's really going to make a difference. Whether it's Lawless, whether it's Jasper, even Rod Ronan at the end of the game, I thought was kind of a weird substitution. He's not really a possession guy. He's more of a finesse guy. You need somebody that can get down and gritty at that point. You need somebody that's just going to get in there, keep the ball, disrupt as much. And that's where we were hoping to see Lamine Diak, right? But he wasn't even in the 18 today. So
yeah, I think it's time to close the book on Diak. Everybody just let it go.
Completely.
Yeah, just let it go. Like every day on Twitter, every game day on Twitter is, where's Diak? Why isn't Diak starting? And I'm just like, the writing is on the wall for me. Like that dude has already played his last minute as a Rapid.
And that's the thing, man. Like there has to be something else going on with him, right? There has to be. Because when he's been out there, he has contributed. He was the one that helped the Rapids tie up that Miami game. But it makes no sense that you bring in a guy like that on loan. But you do need a guy like that on the team. Somebody that is a disruptor. Somebody that can come in and control the ball and just be a pain in the ass for everybody else out there. And the Rapids right now don't have anybody like that on the bench except for Jasper. And I don't think that's enough. I think you need at least one or two more guys. I'm cool with Lawless coming in because he's a guy that's going to give it 100%. But you're right. Going full defensive mode with like 15 minutes left was not the move. You need somebody else that can control possession and help out this team. You need a different wing, a different and a different striker that can help out and make the right tackles, that can make a play up front and push RSL even further into their own zone instead of just hoping for the best defensively. That's never the right plan. Parking the bus, to me, it is kind of a white flag, and it does work really well when you have somebody up front you can trust. But right now, there's just nobody up there that you really do trust.
Yeah, so you can't do it.
Exactly. That's what
and that's why,
right.
Once they went to the back five and they made that Lawless sub, I knew we were done for. Again, that's not on Lawless. I'm just saying he was the signal for me when the strategy had gone 100%.
And honestly, defensively, the Rapids were shaky all game. It wasn't just a lot. Like Bombi probably had his worst game this year so far. We were talking about before the show went on that he had a few things going on here and there that led to a goal and could have led to another goal with that back pass that just got intercepted because it was a flimsy little pass. Things like that kind of build up throughout the game, and you saw many mistakes from the defense that led to RSL going up there and being able to score 5 on the Rapids tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. I just the whole thing for me is those subs. And my thing is like, I know there's been 3 games, but this is Rocky Mountain Cup. I would have never taken Bassett and Ollie off. I'd be like, you got 15 more minutes, dig deep. Those were the 2 guys that, I wanted to have out there at the end.
Yeah.
I'm fine swapping out some offense, but when you got a team with, Chicho running around, who's always seemingly in the right spot at the right time, I don't know. I think you need to keep those 2 guys on to keep breaking it up in the middle. I don't know. The subs were strange to me. It to me, and I think you make an excellent point about 3 games in 8 days and needing to get guys rest. And I wasn't thinking about that in the game. I was just thinking like let's let all the guys play because it's a Rocky Mountain Cup game. So let's let everybody play. And it felt like those subs had a lot of that into it, which that's just me reading nothing at all. That's me reading tea leaves. I don't know what's going on there, obviously. It could be that fatigue factor, but man, that's a game where I wouldn't have pulled some guys off. I would have let them keep going for the full 90.
Yeah, man. And it's like hindsight's 2020, right? After you see how that game played out, like
sure,
we can look back and say like you should have just left them on. Maybe you bring in Cabral and Yappy, but you leave Cole and Ollie there for the midfield, and maybe you take off Jordy and bring in Ronan, somebody that's has fresh legs and is just running around. You don't go into that back five. But as mad as I am at this loss and as angry as it makes me feel because it was right in your hands, you're up again. Same thing as San Jose. You're up 2-0. There's no need for that game to go into the half tied at all. You completely turn off. That's the part that I think pisses me off the most. And it's annoying, right? Like, you had the game in your hand. You let them get momentum. And after they get that momentum, they don't let off for the rest of the game. They're going. It's a back and forth. You let them get back into the scrap and they're out there biting ankles. Like, you can't do that. Like, you let them get back into this game. And at the end of the night, I think that hurts me more than losing 5-3 or even allowing that third goal really pisses me off because those are mental mistakes. It's a young team that's still not ready to win. It's a team that's super talented. I would have never thought we scored 3 games in a Rocky Mountain Cup, in all honesty. It's been forever. And they did it. They did it in Utah, in all places. 3 goals, it's usually enough to get you a win in any game. Not tonight. And that's because of the young team that was out there. Even Zach made some mental mistakes today with most of the things he did today. Like, even the passing was way off for him. He was throwing it out of bounds. And that's the part where it leaves me wanting more from this team. It's not the, oh man, Armas this. The players on the pitch themselves feel like they kind of turned off a switch as well. They were up 2-0 and they kind of just relaxed. They let the game flow. And it really, really hurt. That's what hurt me the most of today because that's the second weekend we see it in a row. You didn't do it against Vancouver, but that's because Vancouver was down to 10 men. And even then, they were still threatening you at times. You can't be letting those things happen. I get it's another professional team on the other side, but when you're up 2-0, you're supposed to keep your foot on the throat and stomp them out every time. These are street rules, baby. This ain't playing fair. You don't play fair. You're trying to win. You have to stomp them out when you got them, and you didn't do that tonight, and I think that hurts me more than anything else that happened.
Yeah, I mean, the end of the first half was you could just see it happening, and it's, I think I even put out on Twitter, like, this is the test that we need to see how the squad's going to come back from, are they going to kind of pack it in, take their foot off the gas, or are they going to stay on it? And unfortunately they did what we've seen them do before, which, like San Jose, is that we took our foot off the gas, at the end of that first half. And, we effed around and we found out what happens.
Oh, you can say fuck. I say it all the time.
So, that's, that was just such a bummer right before half. I mean, my wife does not like soccer at all. And we were both just watching the game and so elated after a 2-1 or 2-0, and man, it deflated quickly.
Me and Duane had the exact same nights with our wives. I was doing the exact same thing. My wife was like, ooh, wow. And then after halftime, she's like, what happened at this game?
Yeah, she was back on the phone for the second half playing Sudoku or Candy Crush or whatever it is. Became more interesting.
I mean, it happens, right? We get our wives interested and then the Rapids let us down. That's part of being a Pitt fan. Maha Hotspur coming in with growing pains. I'm still super impressed with our team. Armas just needs time to cook. I do want to get into that, but first I want Duane to shout out some of our presenting sponsors, some of the fun things, some of the people that support us throughout the show.
Well, you've heard it before, everyone. You talk to us in the Toyota chat, you know that Toyota is the official vehicle of DNVR. Trucks have always been a part of Toyota's DNA. For generations, Toyota has built durable legends destined for greatness and perfect for Colorado. Whether you're conquering off-road trails or hauling the weight of the world, there's a Toyota truck that's just right for you. Like the all-new 2024 Tacoma and the return of the iconic 2024 Land Cruiser coming this spring. Toyota offers 17 models with available all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, like the Epic 4Runner. Toyota also currently offers more low and zero-emission vehicles combined than any other automaker to give customers numerous choices to reduce their carbon footprint. There are 16 hybrid vehicles to choose from, like the Toyota iForce Max Hybrid truck. And Toyota's SUVs take command on the road and on the trail. So you can explore the road less traveled without sacrificing smooth city rides and SUVs like the RAV4 and Grand Highlander. Woo! There can only be one. So
God, I love me Toyotas, man. Especially them highlighters. Those dudes.
Those highlighters, man, they're the top of the Toyota pyramid.
They really pop on the street, if you know what I mean.
It's the best paint jobs in the industry for sure. Oh man. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, whoop whoop, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner, as you know, of the Colorado Rapids. And I would be remiss if I didn't also mention our friends at Fubo TV.
I love Big Word Duane. Let's go.
Fubo, where you can catch one of the most exciting basketball games you're going to see tomorrow with the Denver Nuggets, Game 7. You got to get on Fubo to see it. 140 plus live channels of sports shows, movies, and news. You can stream live TV from any device, watch the most Colorado sports for the lowest price, and you can start watching immediately with a free trial. So if you need to see the Nuggets move on to the next round and put a beating on the Timberwolves, you got to get Fubo TV. Sign up for that free trial. No contract, no cable, no hassle. Just sign up and start watching. With 1,000 hours of cloud DVR included at no extra charge, you can keep watching the Nuggets win over and over and over. You can watch local teams while you're traveling. And don't forget, the Colorado Rockies are on Fubo TV all season long. The hottest team in baseball right now. Who thought we'd be saying that? Well, the only place to get them is on Fubo TV. Watch all your favorite sports.
That's the hottest team in all. That's the hottest team in all sports, baby.
I mean, who would have thought we'd be saying that? But
not me. I'll tell you that much.
Here we are talking about the Colorado Rockies. Who
Look at us.
Not me. Watch all your favorite sports, including those Colorado Rockies with Fubo. Go to www.fubotv.com/DNVR to sign up for 15% off your first month of Fubo Pro.
All right, guys, and we are back to the DNVR Rapids Losers Lounge here with Mr. Duane and Yahir. So before we get into the positives, there's a couple things I do want to ask you, because I think there is a lot of positives from this game, whether even through this loss. During that stretch in the first half, where Armas tied it 2-2, I thought the midfield was really bad. All the way from Jordy to Cole to Ollie, they've all kind of became invisible and stopped holding possession of the ball. I don't know if I was seeing the game wrong, but what did you see from that? I thought that they just kind of just got on a leash and they were doing whatever they wanted with them.
Yeah, I mean, you saw a very dominating first 20 minutes or so. And then, like we've said before, you saw the Rapids take their foot off the gas. Everything left the press. And I think they're so hardwired into the press and what they've been doing for the first 3/4 of the first half that when they weren't pressing, they didn't know what to do. And so you saw the form start to break down. And that caused big problems for the Colorado Rapids. So, I think that's the biggest thing, is that it's just, you saw it happen, and it's like, oh man, things are breaking down. All right, they score a goal, it's fine. We're still up 2-1. But now we have to think, this is the test right here. Are they going to lose all of their momentum? Are they going to shut down mentally, or are they going to get back on the press and take over this game again? And unfortunately, it was the former, where we start to saw, the shapes start to break down, balls get through the middle, mistakes are made on defense, and it erodes, right up from the forwards that were scoring the goals, right on back to Steffen with given hard shot, but like just the double karate chop down. It was just such it wasn't even a rebound. It was almost like a pass. It was so far out. So it was a weird eroding of the strategy from front to back. As soon as that first goal by RSL was scored. So I wasn't feeling great, but it was still tied. So, I was like, we'll see. Hopefully, and at halftime, there's some inspiration for them to get back on the gas, and I think we saw that.
Yeah, and that kind of leads us to the positive, right? That second half, man, you kind of saw them flip a switch. They didn't lay down and take it like they did against San Jose. They went and out and looked for the win. It should have literally been that goal should have just kind of ended the game, and it didn't, unfortunately. But you saw the work rates of Ollie and Cole kind of get back. We got to remember, it's two 22-year-olds that are in your pivots right now. And then you have a 24-year-old in Jordy that's your creative 10. That's a young squad. If by all metrics you don't hit your peak till you're 27, and these players stick around with the Rapids for the next 4 to 5 years, you have a good legit squad right now. Because they're only 22. They're young dudes. They're out there still fighting. They know what the Rocky Cup means for them. And that's one thing I really did like about it. It's how they bounce back. You can't bounce back if you were never knocked down, right? And they responded the way I think they should have. Now, we already talked about the subs and how that kind of messed momentum a little bit, and also how like the depth really didn't help. But when they were out there, they showed why they're the starters. They showed why Armas trusts these two young homegrowns from Colorado, natives that rock for the badge day in and day out there every day. And that's why we like it, right? That's why we love Ollie. That's why we love Cole, because they bounced back and fought their way through adversity. That was my favorite part of the game, in my opinion. I thought that was a great positive. At the end of the game, it didn't matter it didn't matter at all. But it showed spirit. It showed that they wanted it. It showed that they were not just gonna lay down because the more experienced team on the other side was ready to take it to them. They said, no, we're not doing that. We're gonna fight back and we're gonna try to get this win. And the three midfielders were key to that in the second half.
Yeah, and I think your point about Bassett and Ollie is that you could really tell who was from Colorado and who's really pissed off by RSL and who's not. And, I mean, I saw on really fairly meaningless plays of just RSL, getting the ball back and starting to get back into their shape. And I saw Ollie just sprinting across the field to get to the ball. He didn't need to. It was just like the urgency and the seriousness of what this game is. Like, you see it with Ollie and Bassett more than anybody else on the squad. They get it, and their work rate was crazy. Stat came up again with Bassett running more miles than anybody else in the league. Like, the dude he runs. He's over 100 miles now. Not even.
Man, he's a complete workhorse at this point. Dude just wants it. You can tell he wants it so bad. He wants Colorado to be good. He wants to be the best he can be. It really feels like Armas came in and set a new mentality on him completely as well. Another player that I thought kind of showed the same tenacity for most of the game was Sam Mines. I thought Sam Mines had a great game today. He really bounced back. Did he get burned a couple times? Yeah, you're not going to win every battle. It's impossible, man. It's soccer. The other team is also really talented. You can never take that away from them. But at the end of the day, I thought Sam this might have been the best game he's had all year because he was on it defensively and offensively, and he was sprinting back and forth the whole time. This was after last week having probably in that San Jose game, probably having the worst game of the year. He probably just had the best game of the year tonight.
Yeah, he played really, really well. Unfortunately, part of that, honestly, very impressive goal by
Yeah.
RSL. You know, but outside of that, I mean, he put in the effort, and again, Colorado guy, so he gets it. He grew up coming to Dick's Sporting Goods Park and cheering with the rest of us hating on RSL. So that's another one I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot about Vines.
Man, them Colorado kids are built different, right? They want it so bad against RSL. And
Yeah.
in all truth, man, I don't know if they didn't really grow up with the rivalry, playing in it at least. They talked about it in our pod a few weeks back, a couple months back now, where Dallas is the real rival because that's who they played constantly in the lower leagues. That's who they. But once they hit the pros and realize what this derby means, not just to the fans but to the club and everybody that's out there, it feels like they turn it up a notch and they're ready to fight for it. Remember, Vines was part of that 5-0 Rio Tinto win in 2020. It matters to them. They want it so bad, and it's good to see Vines finally bounce back. I was talking to Duane before the show, telling him, man, if Vines doesn't just turn it up now, like he might not turn it on all year. That it was just so nice to see him finally get in rhythm, be the Vines that we kind of love and know.
For sure.
What other positives did you see from tonight? I thought there was quite a few, in all honesty.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't really talked about the offense very much because we've been talking about kind of what's not worked. You mentioned this. We haven't really talked too much about it, but the Omir Rafa connection is legit. I think there's some obvious communication bonuses that they can speak to each other. Whereas Rafa, does not have that speech connection with a lot of other players on the pitch. So I think there's obviously a lot of connection and conversation between them at training and just in regular life. So you're starting to see that play out on the field now with those two really starting to get comfortable with each other and starting to know where one another are going to be because the passes and feeds that you saw were on point tonight. And that's because, they're starting to know who's going to be where. And, that happens over time. It happens playing with each other consistently. And, we saw a lot of that with Omir and Rafa tonight. I thought they looked really good together. They were really fun to watch, super fun to watch.
They were great. Honestly, man, I know Calvin didn't have the crispest game tonight. He did. He was a little off here and there. He also hasn't played. He was used to being a starter. He might have just lost a little bit of rhythm. It happens. These are professional athletes. It's all about routine for them. But when he did have the ball or when he did make the right pass, it looked a lot better than Cabral, in my opinion.
His crosses are good. There's
a lot more intention behind what he does sometimes than what Cabral does, where it's just run, kick the ball, run, kick the ball. It feels like Harris has a little bit more of a, all right, what am I going to do here and why should I be doing this kind of thing? And I think that's your starting three up front for now. I think you got to leave those guys up there. I think Omir and Rafa have shown that they know how to play together. Once Calvin gets in rhythm and he kind of gets that connection going with them, that can be a lethal front three. You got the speed with all three of them. All three of them love to cut. Calvin and Omir love to cut in, and Rafa loves talking to them and getting the ball. Once he gets the ball, Rafa just goes, dude. And the thing about Rafa tonight is that he went toe to toe with Chicho. He had one goal and Chicho had two, but Rafa's goals were poacher goals. He created that goal for himself. He went in there and did it. It was an incredible goal. And Chicho got some just bounces went his way, and he headed one in and kind of just struck one into an open goal. But when you have a guy on the other side, your own striker, being just as competent as the other striker might be leading the MVP race right now, it's incredible. You cannot scoff at that at all. Rafa, to me tonight, he gets a gold star, he gets the flowers, he gets everything. He is just driving that price up right now, which is the most painful part. But it's proven to be worth it, right? He's proven that he is that guy. He's the dude that should be up front, and maybe with a little bit more help from Jordy, and maybe even maybe a little bit more of a stable starting 11 in the wings, you kind of get that chemistry building up, where you can see the full potential of Rafa. Maybe Rafa's a 15 goal kind of guy a year. You know what I mean? That's his average. Instead of just scrapping for goals, and I'm just so excited for what's come for our dude Rafa.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier in the show, I love it when Rafa tells me to shut up. And he did it again tonight, and it was awesome. It was just those first two goals were just so much fun. Because I always kind of laugh at sweeper keepers. To me, it's if forwards would be just a little bit more heads up, you could punch that ball behind them every time. Like I thought there were two other chances for that tonight, but nobody wanted to take the big kick.
Yeah.
But that first goal, I mean, I laughed so hard at that. It was just like, McMath, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And like Bassett totally made him eat it for it, you know. It was just the funniest thing. So I love that goal. I thought Rafa's goal was just not just clever, but just skill A+ level. You know, it's like you know that McMath is going to sit up and try to cover that as much as he could. So just pop it over top of him, and it was just a beautiful little scoop. And yeah, I mean, it was just that's what you want your 9 to do. You want him to have the skills and the mental quickness to go, I'm going to go over this guy, just going to give a little chip. And hilarious. Like, dude, those first two goals were so much fun.
They were great, especially because Rafa kind of just created that goal by himself, right? Rafa just kind of drove the ball, and he did get a little lucky. The bounce went his way, but he was there at the right time. He didn't take his eyes off the ball, kept going, and just kind of just flicked it right over him. At that point, I'm like, oh, it's cooked. But San Jose did start creeping up in my mind a little bit after that second goal. I'm like, damn it better not be the same thing. But any other positives that you see from tonight, man, that you're just like, I really like this today. I think that's what the Rapids should be, or anything else negative, if you want to go that way again?
Yeah, I mean, somebody mentioned it up earlier in the comments. And so, you know, I'll agree with them. When we were talking about how the homegrowns really show that kind of that fight and hatred for RSL, somebody had mentioned Maxu having a real good game too. And like, I kind of laugh at that because I think Maxu hates everyone who's not a Rapid. Like, it's just like, if you are not in a Rapids kit, Maxu hates you for 90 minutes, you know? He's probably nice to you. He's probably nice to you after the game, but during that 90, I just don't. Man, I love it. I love it when he gets like, he's just a giant back there, and I love when he turns into the Great Dane and just starts barking at dudes, you know. So, you know, I thought I'll agree. And sorry, I don't remember who said it in the comments, but yeah. I thought Maxu took it seriously, as he always does. I think he takes almost every game seriously.
I thought I literally tweeted, Maxu and Chicho have real beef, man. Then I had a quote tweet immediately afterward. Like, never mind, they hug, they good. Because
yeah, that's what I'm saying. After the whistle, I think he's down with everybody. It's like a respect of warriors, you know, just respecting each other. But man, during that 90. I mean, Maxu would tear anyone's arms off.
It happened last game. It happened the last RSL game, right? Chicho and Maxu also got into it. Mm-hmm. Maxu was in Chicho's face. Like, there is some animosity there. There is a little bit of hatred there. And it does become a derby. That's kind of what derbies are. Even if you're not a part of this culture for a long time, you realize what rivalry week is, what rivalries mean. And Maxu knows that coming from Europe. He knows that derbies mean a lot, not just to the club, but they mean a lot to the fans. and that's who he was stouted on. When we talk to people out in Brøndby, that's exactly what he told us. He does it for the badge, he does it for the fans, and
Yep.
you can really see it every time he faces RSL the most, in my opinion. That's when you really see that come out in Max 2 and be like, I want to tear your head off no matter who you are. And you got to love it. And that scuffle at the end I thought was kind of dumb for no reason. It wasn't even a foul, but RSL
Yeah.
wanted to act like the victim and be, ow, it hurts. But look, at the end of the day, I think the Rapids showed a lot of fight. It sucks that they lost. It sucks that they didn't get the win after being up 2-0 and then 3-2. They were in Utah, and at the end of the day, it's just such a good thing that they even fought so hard. Before this, we were thinking it was going to be a blowout because we got to remember RSL's top of the league. This Rapids team, it's completely reformed with a new coach. It has a lot of new starters. It has a lot of new pieces coming into play, and them being so good this young, so early in the season, it can only be a positive. At the end of the day, does it suck that they lost? Yeah, I'm upset. I hate it. But at the end of the day, the Rapids get to come home to Colorado, and they in Utah, and RSL has to stay in Utah. So who's the real loser here? Like the Rapids get to come to Colorado, and they like RSL has to stay in Utah. So like we're not the Rapids didn't lose because they get to come home to the best place in the world instead of staying in that place.
True, yeah. That's true. Like core, yeah, just happened.
Oh yeah, that just it flows out of me, man. The Utah hate flows out of me. There's so many things I wanted to tweet out today that were inappropriate that I cannot. Trust me, my hatred for Utah runs deeper than anything else I know in my life. Besides the
It's
love of my
true.
wife, of course. That's the deepest bond I have besides hate. Um, Before we get into flowers from the fallows, I want to give a quick shout out to Breckenridge Brewery. Guess what I was doing while tweeting and watching the game and having a good time with my wife? I was
Having
drinking
a Breck brew.
having a couple of this mountain beaches, baby. There's mountain beaches that Utah know nothing about. The great tasting beer. I love Breck Brew, man. The brew house, incredible out in Littleton. It's one of my favorite places because it's just huge. I got to see the Stanley Cup there. I got to cover the NFL draft there. All the food is great there. The drinks, incredible because it's all Breck Brew. You cannot go wrong there. And if you're out of state, they're all in the lower 48, baby. You can get them anywhere now. We global. We all global in the US now. Like you don't have to just be in Colorado to get the best beer around. Breck Brew also has a Breck Brew locator. So if, let's say you're just chilling at home and you're like, damn, I don't know if the liquor store next to me has Breck Brew. Go into Breck Brew locator, beer locator, and they'll find it anywhere you are. It's a great time. Breck Brew is the official craft beer of DNVR. Breck Brew has been doing it for over 33 years, and all comes down to their love and passion for making good beer. For it made with 100% renewable energy. Try it out, man. Do really do. Avalanche Amber Ale is great. That's if you love the Avs, even if they're eliminated, you still gotta love the Avs. You can try the Mile High City. That's on Nuggets, baby. You can try the Broncos Country Pale Ale. I wonder what that team is, right? It's Broncos. What else could it be? They have the Brunslinger. That might be my favorite. And they have a good company seltzer if you're trying to watch them calories for the summer, baby. It's Breck brews are great. You got to go get some Breck brews. And while you're getting Breck brews, check out DNVR events. DNVR events, we're doing a bunch of fun stuff. Hey, do you want to go to Tampa with me in September for my birthday? Well, now you can because that's what we're doing with the Broncos. Let's go. Hey, do you want to go to watch a Rockies game? The hottest team in all sports? You can do that with Susie at DNVR events where you're going to get a suite, you're going to get a Breck brew, you're going to get a ride to the stadium. You get everything there. It's such a good time. The NVR events, check it out on our website. It's a good time no matter where you're at. If you want an event, be it our Rapids events coming up too. We're having a couple of takeovers here and there for Dallas week and all that.
I know one of those takeovers is going to be the third game of the Rocky Mountain Cup.
Oh, imagine being in them stands when they lift up that Rocky Mountain Cup, baby. Ooh, and then you can flip off
Don't wanna
Chicho
miss
from the
it.
top if you want. It's gonna be the best time ever. So check out the NVR events. It's a great time for you. It's a great time for me. It's a great time for all. All right, now we get into the third segment of our DNVR Losers Lounge, where I'm here with Mr. Duane Downtown Brown and Yahya here, and we get to give some flowers out. Do you want to go first, Duane, or do you want me to go first?
You go first. You never get to go first.
Okay, so my first flower for this game, it's gonna be Rafa. I'm taking it away. I'm gonna make it easy for me, you and me. Dude, Rafa's a dude. He looks like a baller. Now he's playing like a baller. He's such a good player for the Rapids right now. I hope he can keep it up. He's at 8 goals now, 10 goal contributions. That's insane.
4 games in a row. I think there's only, I saw MLS posted only 3 other Rapids have done that. I think Cummings, Connor, someone else that I can't remember. But 4 games in a row.
Yeah, but either way, man, like Rafa has been killing it, not just scoring, but also setting up his teammates, making the right runs. It feels like he's really adapted to the system lately. I don't know if it's because Omir is more in the starting lineup. He's helping him out a little bit more language barriers. It could be a lot of things. If you're not feeling right, you're not going to play right. It's just like when you go to work. If you're not feeling good, you're not going to work good. And it feels like Rafa finally figured it out. The worst part about this is just that the price tag keeps going up and up. It's going to be an expensive buy for the Rapids in the summer, and we don't want that. But at the end of the day, man, good for Rafa. You're killing it.
Yeah, I really thought that price tag was going to drop a ton, but
I think everybody did.
It's like, Rafa, come on, man. Like, cut us a break
chill
here.
out for the next month.
You'll still get paid. We're just trying not to pay Palmyra as well. So, yeah, Rafa, man, dude just keeps proving me wrong every time.
Do you have flowers? Where are your flowers going to?
I think my flowers are going to Cole Bassett. Cole Bassett with one of the funniest goals, just best FU RSL goals, taking advantage of a keeper who's playing way too far out, and just absolutely burning him on it. And seeing Cole get the first goal of the game versus RSL, just to me was just soccer poetry. It's just, that is how soccer life is supposed to be. That's how this game was meant to go, was Cole Bassett, RSL hater, scoring first by absolutely punking former Rapid Zack McMath.
Now, he can't be called a former Rapid if he's an RSL player now.
That's unfair.
You lose that title once you move.
You've turned. There's no coming back from that. So I don't know. That goal to me was so much joy. Like, that might be my favorite goal of the whole year, because I detest arrogance, and playing that far out was just so arrogant. And he paid for it the whole time. Yeah, man. He paid for it. So, man, that goal was beauty. And the rest of the game, again, continues to lead the league in distance run for the season.
Like you like to call it on this pod.
Yeah, just for the distance, the dog, just the damn awesomeness of putting up that first goal on RSL and then running your butt off the rest of the match, covering the entire field, and being like an offensive force on this team. I mean, that's the craziest thing to me. Like, we all know that Cole has said in the past, like, he wants to be a 10, like he said flat out, not this year, but last year in the media day presser, like, I'm a 10, just that's it, period. Now they're playing him further back and the dude's scoring more goals than ever. It just shows you the flexibility, the adaptability, and just the mental awareness to be able to hang back but also surge up into offense is awesome. I love watching Cole Bassett play, Like I've always liked Cole Bassett, but he's not like been a guy I've been like looking for.
Yeah,
But now, like when the ball hits his foot, it's action time. Like that's what I'm paying attention to,
he's
and I love that.
he is one of the top performers for XT, which is expected threat, which is means whenever he has the ball, he's gonna threaten you with that ball, which is
Hmm.
always good to see, man. When you're one of your favorite players is doing that, that means good things. I have two more. One of them is gonna go to Omir, my dude. Dude has been stepping it up. Love what he's doing out there. That connection with Rafa is making Rafa comfortable. It's making him comfortable. He's proven that New York game was a little He kind of disappeared for most of it, but he's kind of bounced back since. I think he just needs a little bit more playing time. How I said, get into rhythm, let him get the ball at his feet, and he's proven to you why he was the first acquisition in the Armas era. Right, as soon as Armas came and he talked to Amir, Amir's like, I'm in. Omir wants to reach heights. He wants to be a part of this team. Put him out there. He's gonna give it his all. He knows what derbies mean, and he showed it today. I thought he did a great job. I'm just so excited for what's to come from him because I think he can really grow into that starting winger for the Rapids that they've been looking for.
Yeah, big game from Omir today, and you love to see that connection growing. So it's making both of them better. It's making Rafa more expensive. So it is what it is. But we've been waiting to see what Omir is going to be this year, and I think tonight was a really good, kind of nice little teaser to what that could look like.
100%. What's your next, Flowers?
I mean, we talked about them already, but just for like willingness to murder someone in general, uh, is it's got to be Maxu. Like,
He's the Danish bulldog, baby.
I mean, just for 90 minutes, you get to watch half Nelson and full Nelson. If you're into collegiate or high school wrestling, those are real wrestling moves. Maybe he wrestled in high school. I don't know. But that dude puts more people in full Nelsons and half Nelsons than anybody in MLS, and it cracks me up. And then seeing him, get chippy at the end, defend his teammates, versus a team like RSL. Um, Chef's kiss for a guy who's not a homegrown. I love it. So I loved his feistiness tonight. We needed it versus a squad like RSL.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so I lied. I have actually two now. It wasn't just two before. Um, the next one I'm gonna give it to is Sammy Vines, the other homegrown. I loved how he bounced back. He's had a rough start to the season. 15 games in, 13 games in. I'm not really sure around there. He's kind of gotten the rhythm. Hopefully, he can keep it going, not just against RSL. And if he does that, I think the Rapids are gonna start cooking. You can see the rhythm getting there. 3 goals is usually enough to win you a game. Just wasn't tonight. And if the Rapids can do that, fortify some of that defense, get ready. Maybe in July, in the summer window, you can get a little bit more depth, help you out, so those subs aren't so lackadaisical, and you can kind of actually get some more talent in there. I think this team's going to be rolling, but it comes down to Sammy Vines being able to be that guy. So Armas doesn't have to worry about the position anymore or have to focus more energy into that. Maybe it's more time that he has to spend with the bench, get them ready. But all the credit to Sam, man. He balled out tonight.
For sure. He's had some good bounce backs lately. So,
You have another one, Nick?
Yeah, well, I'll just throw in another because you said you have another one. So to keep going, I'm gonna go Calvin Harris. He didn't get the words from us because we were talking about Omir to Rafa connection, but Calvin had a beautiful cross in that third time's the charm goal. He's the reason that those 3 shots happened. Fine, it takes 3 shots as long as one of them goes in. But that was a really beautiful, centering pass, and you mentioned earlier talking about him, just his purposefulness. There's no passes that are like, I'm just going to kick it and cross my fingers that someone's there with Calvin Harris. Like, everything is on purpose. He's taking a look to see what's available. If it's not available, you'll see him fight for the ball to keep it down there at the goal line and in the corner. And then when somebody opens up, he will send the ball in. So I love watching that dude play. He's not as flashy, so he doesn't get a lot of the talk. But I love watching Calvin Harris play soccer. Like, it's his passes are worth the show, worth the tickets.
100. I mean, he's a true winger, right? He
Mhm.
doesn't just cut in, like he actually plays the wing. My last one, it's going to be for the fans that traveled out there, the fans that got to go watch the Rapids in that hellhole. Congratulations, guys. Going out to Utah might be the hardest thing you might do in your life. Um, and you guys being out there to support the Rapids means a lot to the team. It means a lot to the fan bases for the fan base that can be out there, for all the supporters that can represent the Rapids in another state in an away stadium. And that contingent was huge. You guys made noise. We could hear you through the TV when the Rapids scored. That
Yep.
means so much, not just to the team and the players. That means a lot to us as fans that are watching. It makes us feel good that the supporters are traveling as well. I thought you guys were great tonight. Everybody in the chat today was great. We love how much you guys love this team, and the fans deserve so much credit for being out there cheering on the team. And to me, that's the epitome of sports.
Yep. Don't be dismayed at the drop in standings because we didn't win tonight. A lot of games left. The West is crazy, and we're still only a few points out from the top. So we're still in good shape, even though this one hurts a little more because it's Salt Lake. That's for sure. But yeah, it was cool. The fans got good TV time. Good showing from the field. I can't remember who came off. Somebody subbed and went over and was clapping to
Jordy, probably.
Was it Georgie? Yeah, and it was great because he came over and clapped to the Rapids, the Rapids faithful, and the entire stadium started booing him. And I was just like, dude, that's awesome. It's so awesome.
He loves being the bad guy. He loves the bad. But I thought the fans did great today. You guys didn't have the whole stadium, but you guys were definitely a lot cooler than everybody else that was wearing that RSL shirt out there. So take that as a win. Anything else, Duane, before we get out of here?
No, just it's a bummer, but this team is still looking pretty good. It's this time last year we would be ready to cash out on the season, and we can lose to RSL, as miserable as that is, and still be hopeful that we've got a solid team, and this doesn't feel like that much of a setback. It's a few points left that we wanted, but we're still right in the thick of it, which is fun. It's fun to be a Rapids fan right now. They're fun to watch. There was a fun game tonight, so good things are happening, man. Even though this loss kind of sucks.
Then Burgundy boys just got to get it right in their mind, right? Once they know how to win, once they learn how to be winners, it's over for the rest of the league. Watch out, Messi. Yep. Watch out, Chicho. Your time is up. But we appreciate you guys very much for tuning in the chat with us. We appreciate all of you that have stayed up this late to hear Losers Lounge, man. We went for a whole hour. Me and Duane talked about going 45 minutes, and we never do that because we love doing this too much. We love talking. It's the reason we do this every single weekend. But if you guys want to hear more content or see more of the stuff that we do, follow DNVR_Rapids on Twitter. We really appreciate it. Give us a 5-star review wherever you hear this podcast, whether it be on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher. Also, like this video. I didn't tell you that this whole podcast, if you're listening to this podcast, which it is on other platforms, come to YouTube, give it a like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're this close to 100K. If one of you guys goes out there and just subscribes to us, It'll really help us out. Besides that, DNVR events, go do all that fun stuff. Come to the bar for the Nuggets game tomorrow. It's going to be a bunch of fun. It's just going to be as rowdy as Ball Arena. And most importantly than all, Duane, I'll let you say it because you say it the best, buddy.
We all silly like the mayor.
My bad, guys. I pressed the wrong button. No, we're not off. Press the wrong button, guys. My bad.
That's so funny.
That would have been hilarious if I ended the show that way, though. All right, man. Most importantly than all.
Up the pins, y'all. Have a good night.
We all silly like the mayor.